One of the things I read, there was some recent research that's developed models to predict the optimal amount of exertion needed to maximize muscle growth, some sort of mathematical models. Have you seen
Yeah.
anything about that? And what are your
Yeah.
thoughts?
And so, there's a lot of research coming out now that we talked about, right? But here's the thing, as a real scientist, as somebody who's literally been in the lab with pipettes doing research, there's a lot of experts out there who've never actually done research, never had to get a grant, never don't really understand. They read a research paper and they think this is the holy grail. Whereas I read a research paper and I'm like, well, that workout really wasn't a workout. You can poke all these holes in a research study. The problem with the amount of research that's coming out now and the amount of fitness influencers out there is that they're going like long length partials. They're going, this is how you grow muscle. And it's like, wait a minute. Wait a minute. There was a time when we realized that lower intensities of cardio burned more fat. And we had the fat burning zone. Remember this? Back in like the 80s, there was a fat burning zone. You wanted to stay at about 60 to 70% of your max heart rate because you burn more fat, right? This is similar to that. And we run with that. That's what you want to do. And then we're like, wait a minute. You're actually burning fewer calories by training at a lower intensity. And now we know, does it really matter what fuel you're burning during a workout to lose fat? If that's what it doesn't. So fast forward to 2024 and all this stuff about long length partials, junk volume. Have you heard that term?
No.
Junk volume. That's, you did 16 sets for chest. You probably could have got away with 8 because that would be the most volume that you needed to build muscle. And now everything else is just waste
Junk volume, right, okay.
of your time. And it's just like, really? Is it? You know what I mean? So the thing is these studies aren't definitive. They're not, you come out with one study that shows, we found that, 10 sets was the maximum hypertrophy stimulus that was needed to grow muscle. I'm like, in who? Because what I need for a stimulus is probably different. What you need to grow muscle is probably different what he needs for a stimulus to grow muscle. So this is the answer for everyone? 10 sets is the maximum that you need to do in a workout to build muscle. I don't think it's, we just don't have those answers yet. It's kind of like we talked about before with hypertrophy. You can kind of define how to build strength, right? How to build muscle endurance. But when it comes to hypertrophy, it's kind of all over the place. Like I said, and again, these guys are taking something else that helps with hypertrophy. But again, you have a Mr. Olympia, Arnold Schwarzenegger, who would do like 20 sets for chest, right? He won the Mr. Olympia, amazing physique. Then you have Dorian Yates, who would do 6 sets for chest, right? Now, again, different sets, but again, his volume was far lower than what Arnold's was, yet he won the Olympia and arguably was even bigger than Arnold. And again, you fast forward, it's more science, more knowledge of drugs. But again, how can 2 athletes, regardless of what they're both taking something, build so much muscle by going about it so differently, right? And so it's muscle hypertrophy is very confusing because it's really hard to say what works. You'll see studies going, well, we compared supersets to straight sets, and whichever one built more muscle, people go, aha, you see, that's the better workout. And it's like, well, no, because if a guy was doing supersets for the last 2 years, he'd probably build more muscle by not doing supersets and doing straight sets. However, if a guy was doing straight sets for 2 years, he'd probably build more muscle by switching to supersets for a while, right? And so you can't take these studies and just say that they're the definitive answer for everyone. Like, you see straight sets build more muscle. Then, you know what I mean? 10 sets is the total amount of volume. It's like, where is that person, along the training experience scale? What has their training been? You know what I mean? These are all factors that are going to affect what's going to work for them. So yeah, so we really know little about muscle hypertrophy, and anybody who tells you any differently just doesn't understand the real science.